Okay, hello everybody. Today is Friday, April 3rd, and it's a few hours after the regular session close. I made a live trading video earlier, and I just wanted to do a video of the strategies that traded automated today, 100% fully automated. And so first up is the E-mini S&P on this 987 tick chart. And the start time of this is 1 minute after the open, and this is where it ended up taking a trade, and we didn't get stopped out. My stop was big enough here, and notice how this setup kind of played out. You had a high and then down, and then a lower high but a higher low, and then kind of a double top here that was exceeded by a tick or two, and then it rolled over. But note how the moving averages played out. Basically, after this, there was a pullback to the 20 and the 60 right here. Now, just to be clear, the Autotrader algorithm is not based on a moving average crossover. We have moving average filter that can be added. The main algorithm, which is based on going short when we have red bars and going long when we have blue bars. Now, trading is not as simple as just buying on blue and selling on red. You want something to confirm that. So the moving average being less than it was 1 bar ago for a short often gives time for this pullback to occur. So that's why when you get red bars and the averages kind of roll over, it can coincide with a pullback to the average, but that is not the logic. The logic is the averages have to be less. So if you use a limit order with a pullback, you can get placement right here. In any case, took a little bit of heat on this trade, but this hit its goal in a single trade with no slippage. Okay, this next trade is a 987 tick Heikin-Ashi on the NASDAQ, and this starts trading right at the open, 9:30. This literally has no filters, so this is unfiltered. So basically what we had here is we had a short and a long and a little tiny winner here, because I guess this was just shy of its goal of 1,020. So the goal on this is 1,020, which it hit with no slippage. And so there was 3 trades. This was a really short trade. So very nicely done with no filters at all, but there is a pullback of 20 ticks. Okay, here's another 987 tick, just a regular 987 tick, not a Heikin-Ashi. And if you're wondering why I use a 987 tick, well, it's a great time frame for the NASDAQ and the E-mini S&P, and I believe in getting to know a particular chart in a particular time frame. So the 987 tick gives a little bit bigger picture, and for a smaller, tighter time frame, I prefer like a 150 tick. So on the 987, I have several configurations. This one starts trading 1 minute before 10 o'clock, so on the half hour, and it is using the adaptive moving average with 10, 2, and 30 settings, and it's a limit order with a pullback of 25 ticks, which is pretty deep. And I'm also using stop loss calculation mode 2 on this one, so this is new. And the stop loss is 150 ticks. Obviously this is not 150 ticks here. It's much smaller than that, and that's because it got out of the trade because the adaptive moving average, if you go long and then the average turns red and you get red bars, it'll exit the trade. So that's why we were able to have 3 losers back to back, and the drawdown was well, I shouldn't say only, but it was about $250 a trade. It was about $800. But shy of the $900 stop loss limit. So the Autotrader was able to absorb several losses here, and then it came back with this exceptional winner here. And because I have a higher profit goal to compensate for absorbing some losses, it was able to hit its goal of 1,020, it obviously had some slippage here. So it made up $700 in losers and hit its goal of 1,020 on the single trade. So this is quite a monster trade here, all fully automated, and it entered this trade because the moving average was less than it was 1 bar ago, which is right here, and then a 25 tick pullback and red bars. So it had nothing to do with moving average crossovers. It was a pullback. Even though that's not the logic, it's the whole trade setup, ends up that way, which is a great entry here. So it's great that the Autotrader can handle some losers and still come out on top like this. Okay, I've been showing the 1 minute chart, and here it is again. This left a lot on the table. This is quite a bit here to not have any money management. For this to have this much and then pull back and only get this, but still it had 3 winners in a row. You can see right off the open, here, here, and here, and it hit its goal of 1,200 or 1,220. So it had a few ticks of slippage, and this is using the adaptive moving average filter. So here it exited the trade because of the filter here. Now this entry was at 76.13, and the market went as high as 76.60, so that's about 160 ticks, which is quite a bit, and it only ended up on the trade with $200. It was probably up as much as $700 or $800 and only ended up with 2. So, again, it's difficult to gauge, where exactly you begin trailing your stop in the money management. Now this second trade here exited because the MA turned blue and we had blue bars. Otherwise it would have looked like this. Had this been red bars right here, it would have exited up here. But so one of the advantages of the precision MA, and one of the reasons I use it, is because of the logic we have inbuilt. It's the way this average forms is interesting, and it allows for this kind of thing here. So this actually did a really good job of trailing the stop and getting out of the trade because of the MA change. And then that happened first, and then it pulled back and got filled on its limit order, which I think is 25 ticks, 15 ticks. Okay, so a 15 tick pullback, which is just at the bottom of this bar. Okay, another 987 tick Heiken Ashi chart, and this one starts trading, I guess, at 12:30. So there was 2 losers here, and again the exit on the pullback to the moving average. Okay, so I wanted to make this a little larger. Once again, the exit was here. So this was a bit of a whipsaw. This exited because of the MA. And then same here. This was a save. This was more of a whipsaw. And then there was a small winner here, and once again exit because of the MA, and then it went short and went short again, and this ultimately hit its goal at 10.20 with 1 tick of slippage. So again, the reason I trade the 987 is I love this time frame for the NQs. And I believe in getting to know 1 or 2 charts and trading those. This has slightly different settings, 21 on the AMA, and also the sensitivity is different. And it's a limit order with a 20 tick pullback. So it's pretty amazing that all these trades are pulling back so far from their close of the bars. Testament to the volatility. Okay, there was a couple of losers today. The 500 tick. Again, sometimes really tight sensitivity can work against you, and that was the case here. This just had a couple of losers and was stopped out for a loss of 990. And then same here, this was stopped out. It looks like my stop maybe not big enough here. Or it might have been stopped out because of the moving average. I don't see blue bars here, so I think it might be my stop loss on this one, which is 150 ticks. In any case, This was stopped out 975 stop loss. It looks like it had positive slippage on its stop loss. Okay, this is the NASDAQ on the Super Renko 18. I haven't plotted this chart for a while, but this is basically an adaptation of the NASDAQ on a Super Renko 6, which I made 3 times larger for volatility. First trade was good for 500, followed by a loser, and then a couple of winners here, back to back. Brought it up to its goal at 1020. And here's what it looks like in the bigger picture. That's all for today's video. Please let me know if you like the videos, and please do comment or let me know your questions.